So I made a video a while back about rappers who let their addiction take over their career, and a lot of people enjoyed it. So why not make a part 2? And honestly, there's a lot of rappers that do have drug addictions. It's kind of a staple now in rap. Almost every rapper does them. Seeing a rapper that doesn't do drugs or hasn't done drugs before during their career, it's like seeing a WNBA player dunk in a game.
She's got 5 points, make it 7.
You just won't see it. But shout out to WNBA though. But I think there's no other perfect way to start out this video than with 3 6 Mafia. In 1991, the group started out as 3, being Juicy J, DJ Paul, and Lord Infamous. Then a few years later, they would add Gangsta Boo, Crunchy Black, and Koopsta, making it an official 6 members of the group. This is definitely the first rap group to start talking about getting high in music. Now, obviously rappers were getting high back then, but they weren't talking about it how 3 6 Mafia was.
Well, you guys, I feel, were one of the first rappers to talk about hard drugs in general.
Well, Pimp C said that when we was making, before we made that song. It was so funny. We was in his house. He was living in Atlanta then, and he was like, "Man, one thing I like about y'all, man, is, man, y'all actually talk about this shit."
You might know them for their songs like Sippin' on Some Scissor.
Sippin' on some scissor, sippin' on some sippin' on some scissor. Always asking me, Mr. 3-6.
They even won an Oscar before big-time actor Will Smith won one. Now that's actually hilarious.
It's hard out here for a pill. Oh my God.
Academy, we love the Academy. You know what I'm saying? Gil Case, everybody, man.
Like, this dude Will Smith was legitimately salty about non-actors winning an Oscar. Here's what he even said after they won.
The man didn't shake my hand. He didn't shake my hand at all. He was standing like this. He wasn't smiling, none of this shit. The man said, "Congratulations to the men that won an Oscar before me," and walked the off.
Really such an underrated rap group that doesn't get talked about a lot. And I would say the person who got the most individual success after the group broke up, and as you know, all good things come to an end, and we're gonna get to why the group broke up, you know, hint being drugs. But Juicy J definitely would have the most individual success, and he would be the reason for exposing why this group broke up after multiple people were left with questions on why they did. In a Spotify interview with Juicy J would say this here: "From heroin to meth to cocaine, all kinds of pills, Jay said of the group's breakup, a lot of drugs were consumed during the times we were together. When everybody was sober and shit, everybody's on the same page. But when cocaine's involved, things change. But I'm not pointing a finger at nobody." He would even mention how drugs completely shifted his mind artistically to where he couldn't make good music anymore unless he stopped.
I felt like when I was in LA for so long, I just, I lost my taste of sound and music and what the wave was and everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm usually on top of that and never fell off of that. But when I was in LA partying, kicking and drinking so much and popping pills, I lost it all.
He would even mention how he came to the realization to get out of LA, how it was ruining his life doing all this partying and drugs.
Like immediately, I sold my house. I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Everybody like, "You leaving, man?" I'm gone, bro. Like if I stay here, man, I'm gonna be fucked up. I'm gonna myself, because I was doing so much drugs and Vicodin and shit, Adderall, all kind of shit, bro. I had a medicine cabinet full of shit. Like I could have prescribed you some shit, bro.
You say no to drugs. Juicy J gang. You say no to drugs. Juicy J gang.
Now, after Juicy J would come out and say why 3 6 Mafia broke up, there would be interviews with former members of the group, and they would give their opinion on what Juicy J said.
Juicy J did an interview recently, and he said that drugs were the reason why 3 6 Mafia broke up.
Well, hey, it could have been for Juices. I did drugs and I was always on time.
That's an interesting way to put it, but you gotta respect someone that's honest. Now, when Gangsta Boo was asked about it, rest in peace to her, she kind of foreshadowed her own death.
He said from heroin to meth to cocaine, all kinds of pills, a lot of drugs were consumed during the times we were together.
So yeah, I've had all kind of experiences with seeing people fall off the wagon and overdose and stuff like that. But if that's his quote and that's what he say, that's his experience. It's not mine.
Just got the autopsy report for Memphis rapper Gangsta Boo. You might remember the artist, whose real name is Lola Mitchell, died suddenly on New Year's Day at a home in Whitehaven. The medical examiner has ruled her death an accidental overdose. The report shows the cause of death as drug toxicity, a combination of alcohol, cocaine, and a type of fentanyl.
But if we get to someone else who let the drugs take over, this person might have the most fans out of anyone we talk about in this video, Mac Miller. And Mac Miller would mention that his addiction started just from loneliness and being by himself. He thought being in his room by himself, if he got high, it would make boringness less boring.
It started by me just sitting inside all day. And then it's like, then you get bored. Then you're like, well, I could just be high and I could have a whole adventure in this room.
Now, Mac Miller from 2011 to 2016 was definitely one of the top rappers in the game. You know how Post Malone is a big star? Now, man, Mac Miller could have been right there in this era especially. In my opinion, he was just getting better and better with every album. Mac would make it seem like in interviews he was done with his addiction. Even in an interview with the late great Larry King, he would admit his addiction got worse with the fame, but also stated how he used to have a drug addiction, implying to his fans he was done.
I had a drug problem, you know, for a long time. It wasn't just in music, but I definitely was going through a drug problem, and I think it was more my state of mind. I was just pretty depressed, as everyone.
Even while successful?
Yeah, I think it started.
With success.
Now, the album Swimming from Mac Miller, he would drop that the same year he passed away. And the most chilling thing to me, he would get his most viewed video from like his most popular song, racking in 500 million views. And this is my favorite song from him.
Hell yeah, we're gonna be alright. Gonna be alright.
Now, this video would come out in July of 2018, and he's in his coffin, which to me, he's trying to symbolize that he was digging his own coffin, but the song is called Self-Care, and during the music video, he's breaking out of it, which eventually he does. But then only 2 months later, Mac Miller would pass away from being laced with fentanyl-laced coke.
Can you wake him up? I'm going to give you instructions. Stay with me on the line, okay? You found him on the bed, on the floor? Okay, listen, so I can help you. The only way we're going to help your friend is if you follow my...
Hi, David. We arrived to a heavy media and police presence here outside of the Studio City home of rapper Mac Miller. And authorities confirm here a death investigation is underway.
Now, there was 3 guys that were arrested for doing this to Mac Miller, and they completely deserve it. Now, also, you could argue on the double-edged sword that Mac Miller shouldn't have done drugs, and I agree with that as well. Mac Miller's death definitely affected people, not just his own family. Schoolboy Q was interviewed by Charlemagne the God, and he started crying when talking about Mac Miller.
I can never write a song. Damn.
Did you give you a chance? Did you give yourself a chance to grieve?
Man, I don't even know if I want to put that in the thing now, man.
Mac would even drop his album the same day as Travis Scott dropped Astroworld. And you had a lot of people talking about who's going to listen to that, who still listens to Mac Miller. Ugly God even got a tweet that got 145,000 likes that says, remember when Mac dropped his album the same night Astroworld dropped, and y'all were saying y'all hear something, who still listens to him, and tell him to keep it? We had a whole convo about it. And he literally told me if he died, people would act like they never said it. F y'all. R.I.P. Now, DMX is probably one of the most famous rappers ever, having hundreds of thousands of people just watching him live. You don't see that type of stuff anymore.
The lights are off. He's in the hallway. It goes doom doom.
I need y'all to help me bring my dog on stage. Now when I say DM, y'all say X. DM.
And then he goes, and the arena goes crazy.
What have they done now? Before I let my dog, you know, just wanna lie, just wanna try, just wonder why, just wanna die. All I know is pain.
I'm not even gonna lie, that could have easily been over 100,000 people. That could have been 200, 300,000 people. No one had space to move. And you know what's crazy is you don't see concerts like that anymore. No artist has this type of impact. Maybe Travis Scott's, you know, people like that. But you know what happens when they throw concerts like this with multiple people? We're not gonna get into that. But in fact, DMX addiction would affect his career. You know, when I say affecting your career, I don't always mean like it stops your career, it stops your growth, it stops your money. Nah, it puts you in a bad mindset to to where later in life, it ruins you.
Do you have a drug problem now?
I will always have a drug problem.
Tell me about that.
Just because you stop getting high doesn't mean that you don't have the problem, because it's a constant fight every day.
It breaks you down. You might die from your past addiction, and that's exactly what happened to DMX. So this story is just sad, a sad story of someone that never wanted to be an addict and got introduced to hardcore drugs at a young age. The guy who introduced DMX to music at a young age would also lace the first blunt DMX ever hit with crack, leading to the addiction DMX would struggle with his whole life.
But this guy, man, this guy, he introduced me to what would be the best part of my life, which would be the rap. But he also, at the end of my life, is blessed with the curse. He came back with a blunt rolled up. And as I'm counting the money, he lights the blunt, and wow. I hit the blunt, and I'm like, I was no longer focused on the money. I never felt like this. Like it just f***ed me up. I'm like, the f***. And I later found out that he laced the blunt with crack.
You could just see the pain in DMX as he knew that day that guy is the reason that he struggled with this addiction in life. And DMX would have actually a great rap career. Now, DMX would get arrested a few times on minor drug-related charges, and they would paint him as this addict. But his first ever debut album, It's Dark and Hell is Hot, would sell over 251,000 copies. And that's back in 1998. And when the Deadpool trailer first released in the summer of 2015, DMX would kind of be reinvented. You had the hottest movie at the time, and you bring back an artist from the 90s, put it in the movie. Now there's new fans of DMX. It was kind of a great thing for him. But sadly, at the age of 50 in 2021, due to the past abuse to his body, DMX would sadly pass away to a cocaine-induced heart attack.
If I was to drop it right now, my last thought would be, I've had a good life. God damn it.